Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Travel Coach, moving body, mind, and spirit. My guest today is the founder and CEO of CIRE Travel, a concierge-style travel agency specializing in luxury vacation and business trips. After more than 20 years working in the travel industry, he says that running a service business and being able to employ others is one of his greatest joys. Eric Hrubant, welcome to the Travel Coach.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. If you want Eric to get started, could you tell us a bit more about your background growing up, please?
Yeah, so I am a born and bred New Yorker, Queens, New York to be exact. And I was raised by a single mom. And there's an ongoing joke that my babysitter was Oprah Winfrey, because every day I would come home from school by myself and I'd watch the Oprah show in New York City where I grew up. It was on every day from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, and I was home alone. So I would watch that. And at the end of the Oprah show, she would always, her production company was called Harpo, which was Oprah backwards. So from like a little 7-year-old kid, I was like, okay, I'm going to have a business one day. And I'm going to name it CIRE, just because it's Eric backwards. So I didn't know what that business would be. And then I went to college in the evening. So I always had to have a job. So I worked during the day and I was in school to be a social worker. And I took a job at a travel agency in 1997. That seems so long ago now. And it was back in the day where my first job was basically there was only paper tickets. So there was no electronic tickets. There was everything was FedEx or Messenger. And so that was my first thing in travel, doing all of the paperwork. And then, fast forward, several years, I worked for a lovely woman and helped her grow her business. And she retired at the end of 2012. And I rebranded the business to CIRE Travel. And here I am. Even during COVID, here I am.
Wow, yeah, exciting times, interesting times. I know the story of Oprah and the babysitter and the nail bag was amazing, And this 7 years old boy dreaming about one day having the business with the name that you actually have. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's funny, when I was doing a test just now, we realized the CIRE would be backwards with everyone looking at it, but I was like, that's kind of appropriate,
Yeah, CIRE,
with the name being backwards. So yes.
Yeah, that's so clever. And so you were studying at night social work to become social worker, and you were working during the day in this travel agency until you decided to change your career. How come did you decided to change from social work to travel? What happened?
So, I grew up very, very poor. I had a wonderful mother, but we had no money. We had no cable, no phone. It was very humble upbringings. And I knew from being a little kid, I'm like, I do not want to live like this the rest of my life. But my nature is to help people and to work with people. And I thought social work and sociology would be interesting. And that's a way to make money and to also help people. So I really fell into travel. Because it really is kind of, when you own a travel agency, whether it's business travel or corporate travel or transformational travel, whatever it is, you're helping people and you're problem solving, you're being a fixer. So it just was a very organic thing. I'm also pretty good on the phone, and I think I'm hysterically funny, even if no one else does. So, so it was good. And I think in travel especially can become so like call center, right? Where everyone reads from a script and it's just so not personal. And my boss, Marie McGregor, who now lives in Florida, she was great. And, she always said, she goes, be yourself. She goes, people want to know who they're working with. They want to like them and trust them. And to this day, that's what I tell my staff. I'm like, engage our clients, like be friendly with them. I'm like, who wants to be on hold for an hour on a call center and then have someone reading from a script? So that's what we do differently. We try to humanize everything and we try to have fun doing it as well.
That's so important. So you think, Eric, you are using your social work training in your travel business now?
Every day. I kind of gave the example too, when I took over the business, have you ever heard of the example, like the bartender buying the bar? where,
Mhm.
if you're a bartender, like you work behind the bar for years and you think, okay, if this was my business, how would I do things differently? How would I improve things? And that's what I did. But, at CIRE Travel, we are travel superheroes. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, and we're not curing disease, but just think of it this way. If you're going on a business trip, right, and you have to get to a client and your flight is canceled, and then someone from CIRE reaches out to you and they say, look, your flight was just canceled. We booked you on the next flight. Here's your boarding pass. Like all of a sudden, all of the adrenaline you have just has dissipated because we've sort of helped you solve that problem. Or just think you've been away on a business trip for a week or more and you want to get home to your family and there's your flight's canceled and we jump in, we get you home so you're sleeping in your own bed and you're able to be with your family. So those are very important things. I mean, if you think about when you're stressed, like you feel the pit in your stomach and your adrenaline goes up. So if someone's there that you weren't even expecting to be like, problem solved, go wait in the bar until your flight takes off.
That's priceless.
It's simple but powerful. I mean, just think about when you call someone, you call any sort of service company, and you're angry or you're frustrated and you think it's going to be a hassle. And then it's easy. And maybe you laugh or maybe you just let your guard down. And your cortisol can just kind of relax. And, I think anyone who works in service has a very powerful job and opportunity to make things better for who they're working with. And that's what I say. I'm like, CIRE Travel is first and foremost a service company. The service we provide is travel.
Wow. I've been working in customer service for 20 years of my life. So I know
Yep.
exactly what you mean and how important and the relax and this is priceless for the customer in this moment of stress.
It is.
Because
And when you
travel is
say,
about fun, yeah? It's about having
yes,
fun. And
it's true. It should be fun. It should be easy. Like travel should be fun and easy and supported. And that's our motto.
yeah. Why do you think, from your experience, Eric, that we people are so attracted to travel? What's about travel that pull us so much?
I think, well, put it this way, I've been home for a year. We've all been home for a year. Um, I think not everyone, but I think most people like contrast, right?
Mm.
So for instance, like, I live in New Jersey outside of New York, and I have a house in Maine, which is about 300 miles north of New York. So I like being by the woods and by the ocean, but then I also like being able to be in Times Square and feeling all of that energy. So I think travel kind of gets us out of our comfort zone. I don't know about you, but when I travel, the first thing I want to do is also figure out about food. Like, where am I going? Where am I eating? Like, I will plan an entire itinerary around where I want to eat and restaurants I want to go to and chefs I want to explore. So, and by doing that, when you're there's a great show called Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix that I've been obsessed with lately. And here's a guy who just goes to eat and he gets to like meet all of these people and talk with them. And it's amazing. So I think that's the draw, just getting out there, meeting people, eating, talking. I have met some great friends. There's a woman named Yana right now that I can see, and her and I met on a travel agent trip and we became fast friends. Like we never laugh so hard. We were in pain laughing with each other for the week on this trip. And we're friends, we may live in different countries, but we're friends. And I think that's the power of travel.
Wow. Yeah. So all the journey starts much before the travel itself with the planning. Then you enjoy the trip and the post travel as well, right? The memories, the pictures, and these friends that you make from these experiences that become friends eventually. Maybe you just shared a few days or they are completely strangers and they become friends forever. It's crazy how this works, right?
It's funny. I was on my colleague and I were on a new business call a couple hours ago, and I was saying that if not during COVID, but non-COVID, if I have a dinner party, everyone at that dinner party are my friends, but they're either clients or they're travel partners, right? They're from a hotel or from an airline or from somewhere else. So travel really has become my world. I know that sounds corny, but for anyone who works in the travel industry, I'm sure that everyone's closest friends are someone they've met working or traveling together.
Oh, that's so true. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Eric. So I heard that you are a yoga instructor. Is that
Well,
correct?
was a yoga instructor. So,
You were. Okay, is yoga
so 12
important part
years
of your
ago,
life?
and it is. It is. So I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I was a fat kid, and my entire life my weight has been up and down. So in 2008, where I lived in New Jersey, there were a lot of yoga studios. There was one yoga studio that I loved, and I loved the owner and the teacher. And she encouraged me to do what was called a 200-hour teacher training program. And it was about the physical aspect of yoga, but it was also about meditation and relaxation and chanting. And, I think many Americans think of yoga now as something where you go and you sweat and it's a hot room and it's hot yoga. And a lot of times, actually, slowing down is more powerful. Like being able to turn off your fight or flight is actually sometimes the most healing thing you can do for yourself. So that's what I did. And I taught for a little bit. And then I started my business and I gained 50 pounds. And uh, I need to take better care of myself. So that's everyone has their journey, right? So my journey, I think, is when you help other people in your business and your clients, your staff, your team, you usually put yourself last. And it's just too easy to have that glass of wine at the end of the day and then,
We deserve it
hamburger.
eventually as well. No, but I love that. I'm
So,
also into meditation and all this slowing down. I think it's some tendency that we are seeing coming, and the
mhm.
wellness travel, right? So, do you have some wellness habits that you recommend to your clients that you
Yep.
do you yourself or your employees?
Yeah, so personally, I still meditate. And my meditation practice for the last 15 years has been chanting, where every night, no matter where I am in the world, I do a chant. So if you know what a mala beat is, it looks like a rosary. And it's
Okay.
108 little, I don't know how to describe it, pebbles. And you do one chant for every mala beat or every rosary beat. So you chant 108 times. You can do it out loud or silently, and that kind of centers me. I
It's like
really love
mantras, so
mantras. Yes,
okay.
mantra meditation would be another name for it, and
Mm,
you can do it.
mm.
If I'm home alone, I will do it out loud. If I'm on a
So good.
plane or on a train, I will just do it silently. So that's my personal practice, and I still do that. And for my clients, whether you're traveling for business or for pleasure, I'm 43 years old. I only had my first massage when I was 39.
No.
I was yes, I was on a trip with a woman who owned a wellness tourism company, and we had a massage every day. So that was my first massage, and I was hooked. And I did a lot of wellness training. And one of the things that I recommend highly, no matter what especially if it's for an overnight flight, is having a massage upon arrival. So if you're on an overnight flight or red eye flight and you land, if within the first 12 hours of landing, if you can have a massage or some sort of wellness treatment, it just kind of resets your body and your mind and helps you be more focused on what you're doing. So I don't think of it as a luxury as much as a necessity. I mean, everyone's so busy and you're killing yourself for your job or to make money to pay your mortgage. And if you could just take 45 minutes for you with no phone, right? No, just having someone focusing on your well-being. Once again, it doesn't seem like such a big thing, but it's very powerful. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always recommend the on arrival massage,
That's
no
so
matter where
good.
you're going. So
I just took notes
yes,
of it. I'm gonna do it for
yes,
sure. Yeah, it's
yes.
so important what you said to take this time to be look after ourselves. And I think the tendency is changing. I don't know from your experience, but my sense is we have more conversations about wellness also in
Hmm.
travel, wellness travel.
Yep.
Can you
Yeah,
do
I
you also
was
think the
reading.
same?
Is a wellness travel is such a broad. It's kind of like if you ask somebody what luxury
Mm,
means something different to everybody. I think it's the
right.
same for wellness, right? So for me, wellness can mean if I'm traveling that I will have a massage, that I will exercise, but I'm still going to have my wine, and I'm still going to have a hamburger, and I'm still going to enjoy whatever the local culture is. But I also want to make sure that I'm also doing things that uplift me and make me feel better. So I would never go to a spa where there's like no alcohol or vegan cuisine. No offense to those who like that. That's not for me. But once
It's
again,
important to know yourself.
yes. So it's once again, wellness means different things to different people. I have a client who I love very much, and prior to COVID, every month she has to travel from New York to DC for business, just for one night. And she's a mom with several kids. And we were chatting one day, and she goes, and the hotel she stays at, she's like, Eric, she goes, my one treat every month is I get to the hotel, I order a turkey sandwich and French fries from room service, and I just have an evening of peace and quiet. So for her, just getting to the hotel, having dinner, not talking to anybody, just having a turkey sandwich, for her, that's just like the 1 hour of her entire month she has to herself.
Wow.
So, that's her version of wellness when she travels for business.
Yeah. I think in the past we were associating wellness more to a spa, but this is changing now since COVID, right? Is this
It
what
is.
CIRE Travel is specialized in wellness and luxury?
I wouldn't say that we specialize in wellness travel, but it is a very important component. And I have a wonderful team, and we really try to, when appropriate, to recommend wellness components. And sometimes people are receptive to it, and sometimes they're not. But if we're recommending a specific hotel where they know they have a really great treatment at their spa, or maybe, the hotel where they're going is near a great park for jogging, we'll at least recommend something. Or if we're planning meetings, how many times have we gone to a conference or meeting where you're in a huge ballroom with no windows, no fresh air, and you're eating a stale bagel for breakfast? Like, nothing about that is enjoyable. So even with wellness meetings, making sure that you have some healthier options, having natural light is a huge thing. Having a proper air quality. I went to a hotel in Italy a couple of years ago, and it was on this wellness training trip I was on. And the next morning, the leader of the trip, she was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel great. She goes, did you notice anything about the room? And I was like, well, it was lovely. It was, we were at the Mandarin Oriental. It was a gorgeous hotel. She goes, did you notice that there was no LED lighting in the room? And I when I went back to the room, but if you notice in all of our homes and hotels, the little green light or little red light, there's always an LED light on. So this hotel made sure that there was no LED lighting. So when you went to bed and you turned off the lights, you had total darkness. And now even in my home, I'm very aware of making sure that I don't have, I try to reduce all of that LED lighting in the evening. So just something simple like that, you don't even realize until someone points it out to you. And then you're like, you can see the red light or the green light anywhere you are.
Yeah, there are small things. Sometimes we think when we need to change our lifestyle completely, and just a small step that we can implement even in our daily life.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so important. So you think, Eric, how do you see now, because we are with this break, right, in travel that we are experimenting this last year, how you see travel changing in the future? If you see it's going to be different, it's going to be what we left it last year. What is this going on?
I'm hoping that everyone will be more grateful and enjoy the moment. Once again, I know that sounds corny, but the fact that you can't do something for a year will make it so much more enjoyable. I cannot wait to go back to a normal restaurant and bar and sit at the bar and not have to worry about anything. I don't want to have to like plan out. It's 50 degrees. Are we sitting outside tonight? I just want to really enjoy all of that. So I think people will just enjoy things more. And also, just to plug a travel agency, you need people, right? So when COVID happened, everyone was complaining about not getting a refund or having to wait on hold with an airline. All of CIRE Travel's clients didn't have to worry about that. We did all of that for them. Everyone got their money back. Everybody got their refund. No one was on hold. We were able to use our resources to make sure that our clients were cared for. So once again, not to plug myself too much, but use a travel advisor when you travel, even if it's for a short trip. And having someone that truly cares for you and has your back is very important. And you're a travel coach, you know that. Some people are scared to travel sometimes. So having an ally, having someone to hold your hand is so powerful.
Yeah, so it's very important what you said here, and the role of the professional, the travel professional, that I think people now is more aware than ever, the importance, because maybe they took it for granted when everything was well. But when things are not well is when you realize, right, when you don't have it. Yeah. So I know you have lots of stories and you are a storyteller.
Yes, I can go on for days. So.
I would like if you can share, I don't know, what was one trip or one anecdote that you think should be relevant to our audience tonight?
You want a personal story or a business story or what?
Up to you.
I have so many. I would say when it comes to wellness, sort of a personal story is, as I mentioned, I do chanting every night. I do mantra meditation. So there's a Hindu god named Ganesha, who's the elephant god. You've all seen the elephant god Ganesha. So like when I do a chant, it's usually to Ganesha. So I have a little Ganesha statue, no bigger than that I carry with me all over the world. Ganesha has been to more countries than most. So whenever I get to a hotel, I usually take out my Ganesha, I put him on the nightstand, and if there's a little candle, I'll put it there. So I do a little makeshift altar. So I was in Dubai a few years ago, and I put the Ganesha on the nightstand with the mala beads, and there was a candle there. And went out for the day. And when I came back to the room, it was at the Waldorf Astoria in Dubai on Palm Island. So I'll give them a plug on this one. But the housekeeper was Hindu, and she saw it, and she literally made a little altar. So she took like a cloth and rose petals and like literally adorned it. So I come back to the room and I was like, oh my God, I had no words. So I called housekeeping and not realizing how loud I am. I'm like, who's the housekeeper? And they were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, oh no, I'm like nothing's wrong. I'm like, I want to thank the person. So the housekeeper was still on duty. She came back and she was like, her English wasn't great, but we had just a nice conversation about this. And this wasn't the sales department. This wasn't the general manager. This was just the housekeeper wanting to make something special like that. So that was one of my personal, I don't know. It was so beautiful and touching and human. That's one of my favorite stories. So
these are the things that you will talk about this hotel and this experience forever and ever. And it was just customer service, right? This is what we were talking before.
Yes, and I hugged the housekeeper. I think she was like, "This is weird. No one ever hugs me." But it was it was so heartfelt. I was genuinely touched by it, and that was 8 years ago, and I still think of that story all the time.
Yeah. Wow, imagine this was in Dubai, yeah? You said
it was in Dubai. Yep.
Cool. So, Eric, do you know that I like collecting hidden gems from all around the world?
Yes.
So, if you had to share from your town or your region, what's a must to visit? What this could be?
Okay, so as I said, I now live in Maine, in a town called Kennebunkport, Maine, which is about 300 miles north of New York, and I live near the beach and near the woods, and it is my happy place. There's something, if I drive to Maine, you drive from New Hampshire into Maine over a bridge. And when you're on the bridge, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Maine." I swear to God, the minute you cross that sign, everything is better. The energy changes. You can be depressed and crying in New Hampshire, and you make 100 feet into Maine and the sun shines. There's something about Maine that I just love. I don't know what it is, but it's just an energy and a feeling that makes me happy. And this town, I mean, I live in a resort community. So, you know, in like a resort town, it's a vacation town. So most people are here on vacation, right? So like 75% of the people you see are on vacation. So most everyone's in a good mood. We have the most, you know, obviously Maine is known for lobster and seafood. And it just really is a very special place. In my little town, it really, I growing up in the city, you know, you have your favorite stores and people know you, but it's not always a community. Up here in Maine, it's a community where you literally know all the shop owners, you know their family, you know how their day is, and you have these conversations, and it's just a slower pace here. Nobody honks their horns. As an angry New Yorker, it took me forever to not want to like honk my horn, but now, you know, I try to not honk my horn anymore, and it's just a very it's still sophisticated, but it's just a little bit slower and lovely. And every day, almost every day, unless it's 20 below zero, I will drive the 2 miles to the beach. I will park my car and I will just open my arms to the universe and be like, thank you, universe, you know, and that's just 5 seconds of gratitude. But if you're coming to Kennebunkport, there's a restaurant called Pearl that has the most amazing chicken you've ever had. I know it sounds weird to come to me for chicken, but it's that great. And then there's a bunch of lobster restaurants too that anybody can email me or text me, and I will give you the lowdown on the best lobster rolls, clam chowder, blueberry pie. And then you have to go jogging to work it off, you know. So
then you have to come. It's gonna be worth it for your excitement, you know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So everyone has to come to Maine and visit. So
yeah, definitely. I just feel like going, you know, as soon as I visit again. Wow. Okay. Perfect. So we are finishing the interview. So I would like if you can share and explain people how they can contact you.
Yep. So CIRE Travel is CIREtravel.com. We're talking right now from my personal account, but CIRE Travel has Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all over. You know, our website is CIREtravel.com. Just call us. We really do great work, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're in the U.S., Europe, the Middle East. Thank you, Amy. www.ciretravel.com is right there. And you know, I have the best team in the business. I don't even call them a staff because you know, my team, they care so much. And they truly love our clients, and we have so much fun, and we laugh and we enjoy ourselves, and you really feel that. So please reach out and sign up for our newsletter. And if you're in Maine or New York, thank you, Melissa. Or if you're in Maine or New York, give us a holler. So
we can definitely feel this energy from here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you on board the Travel Coach today.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you.
And everybody tune in. Safe and happy travels. Thank you. Bye again.
Thank you, everyone.